Gigantti are the final bastion of hope for me left standing. I need to see them deliver today.
Speaking of Bastion, we saw Only God bringing that out a couple of times on control. I doubt he'll bring it out onto Ilios, as he might be quite more comfortable on that Tracer.
We also saw Gigantti do it on Dorado, where they've actually put Davin across onto Orisa, which was a really interesting pick to see him get put on, given he is pretty much exclusively a Tracer main. However, his Tracer is nothing to be ignored, and I'm pretty sure Angry Titans will be reminded of that very shortly.
Another hero who is almost synonymous with their characters or their player is RCK on the D.Va, and we'd like to start things off with him because he's been an absolute beast in previous weeks, and now they're all skirmishing. Angry Titans very much took the fight to Team Gigantti to kick things off and forcing them back into their own enclosed environment, but no one's getting that definitive edge just yet. They're just skirmishing around this point. Neil on this Genji nearly got that Dragon Blade.
Wow.
Coalescence already coming out from a Fox, just to sustain everyone, blast through anyone else who gets in the way. Elivoke sending that self-destruct into the air, should dissipate the thing, but Davin and LH Cloudy taken out by that ability. That's the edge we were looking for, and it's Angry Titans with the first cap of this game.
I think is realistically, you're always going to struggle against a Moira who gets it ult that quickly for a start. They could literally play. It's like a massive battle of tug of war on the yellow bridge there. And the fact you've got a Moira behind, healing all 5 members at once as they take damage from someone like the Winston, you're always going to win that fight out. And Angry Titans with the decisive, dare I say, almost a win because of the comp they took, kind of out-handle what Gigantti were doing. Now Gigantti have got to try and wage the war, which is where they start to shine. It's in these team fights.
Well,
let's see if they've got the ults as well. Nil.
Yep, there we go. So Dragon Blade pop at the moment from Angry Titans. It's Urki, the one who's going to be dealing the damage onto Masa as of yet. Davin takes down a Fox. Eric Cloudy gets the D-Mech. He's now switched over to that Reinhardt rather than the Winston, and he's already started to make a name for himself. But Ripper onto Urki will shut down the Dragon Blade. Nil still sitting on one of his own, yet to pop it. I don't think they need to, but Gigantti, they got 5 ults in their pocket. Here comes the Blade. Dive onto the back line. No one to be found just yet. Immediate sound barrier to answer and try and negate some of this damage. Can't find any kills. Did apply a lot of pressure and enable Gigantti to get that cap.
Not really much came from that, so it was a good sound barrier coming out of Lily to at least deny the Blade. However, Davin in the backline managed to bring down Only God. So advantage goes across to Gigantti. They take the point, still got 3 ultimates to work with. We've complimented them a lot on this in previous weeks about their ultimate usage. They never expend too many ultimates in a fight. They always use exactly what they need.
Well, Pulse Bomb got eaten up straight away by Elivoke, so that shuts down the ultimate for Davin. We've seen a lot of that today, and I'm sure that's going to continue as the series goes on. Coalescence into the sound barrier coming out from Master. Cloudy sitting on that Earth Shatter at the moment as a bomb goes up in the air from RCK. Finds no one, but maybe changes the tempo of the fight. Urki going very low, having to deflect for his life, and now he's getting the sustain from his supports. It's Davin, unable to find the kill. Everyone backs off. No one dropping just yet. Self-destruct goes into the air. Winston dives onto the back line, forcing everyone away. Davin finds Elivo outside of the mech with that travel time from her ultimate. Nil cuts down, Urki cuts down Nil, has the Dragon Blade of his own available. Has to back off at the moment, see if he can get that health pack as Davin and Cloudy pick up some kills for himself. Team Gigantti still in control of the point.
The dominance we're used to seeing from Gigantti continues, it feels, in this first map of the series. Very, very good in terms of what Davin's been doing, to be fair. Always in the backline once again, and even when his rewinds on cooldown, sounds really weird saying rewind on cooldown. When that's on cooldown, he's still playing very aggressive, which a lot of teams would usually punish you for, but it's measured aggression.
Well, there's Urki with a Dragon Blade. He's gone straight onto Nil, unable to get the kill. Nil's dancing around. He dashes, he's missed 2 dashes and finally gets the final slice to take him out. But that was a lot of time stalled. It didn't matter though. Angry Titans just doing all the work while that engagement was happening at the side of the map.
And no ults being expended at all by Gigantti there. They've nearly got 4 back online to be able to play with, and the support ults aren't too far away either, to be fair. It's quite interesting seeing a Ryan getting picked here, because generally you look for the mobility of something like a Winston. But Cloudy, we already spoke about his Reinhardt a lot in previous weeks. It is stellar. He's using it very much so for the protection. And to be fair, in the previous fight to the one we just saw them lose, he managed to block out the D.Va bomb from the Moira, who had no way of getting away because her ultimate was active.
2 support ultimates, 1 being used already. Coalescence for A-Fox. Loltish still sitting on that primal rage, but they've taken out LX Cloudy. His shield can't block that Coalescence. Getting kills from Loltish without using the ultimate has finally gone down to RCK. And Nil, he's going to jump off the edge of the map so he knows the fight's over. Now Gigantti are in full retreat. Support hiding behind RCK will sustain him.
They're going to go for the one sudden wipe, take the point immediately, and then go for that 10% without any kind of contest coming through from Angry Titans. They've got 5 ultimates online, and knowing Davin, his will be up before you know it. This is their final push. They're coming into 2 ultimates on the side of Angry Titans. None of them are defensive.
Only God throws out the pulse bomb, eaten yet again. So here comes Gigantti. What are they going to do with the ultimates? Dragon Blade from Nil, unable to get onto the fight. I think that was Luddy knocking him back to negate that damage yet again. If it's a sound barrier, it's a boot. He's shutting Nil down as A-Fox finishes off the kill. Self-destruct found no one. Now they're fighting over the point. Erky with another Dragon Blade cuts through the mech, forces out an early self-destruct. And it doesn't find anyone as Davin and Master get some kills of their own. Erky still lurking around the edges of this fight. That's going to be Elivote's mech going down because Ripper's returning the kills with the rest of his team. This is going to be Team Gigantti securing the point again. Can they close it out though?
They didn't get the full wipe they wanted to in the first place, but over time the war of attrition has gone their way. They've got the point, there's 5% to go, but they've got to fight off Angry Titans once more.
And now they're going to fire that Flame Strike. Going to hold LH Cloudy in that position. No ultimates available for Gigantti. Erky switching over to that Soldier to fresh things up a little bit. There's only God getting close to that Pulse Bomb. Here comes the double Coalescence, almost simultaneously used, but it's Ripper finding Lulsish. LH Cloudy shuts down one of the supports. Luddy no longer on the field. RCK DMX Elivote, and Ripper going to sustain LH Cloudy while he pushes forward. Erky jumping to his death as the supports double team him, and LH Cloudy with the Earth Shatter keeps A-Fox away from the fight. Team Gigantti take round 1.
Interesting, scrappy last fight from Angry Titans. A few members throwing themselves onto the point at the very end there without any kind of coordination or dive attempt from the team themselves. Gigantti doing what they do best, staying as a team, fighting together and letting Davin just go and run right in the back line, pick up whoever he wants to. Not the most fluid though, going pretty much all the way to 99% for both teams, made it a bit of a scrap. But in the end of the day, the team who we expected to pull ahead will find themselves pulling ahead. Now on the desk, they mentioned Erky's Farah. I'm interested in seeing how it's going to work out for them because, again, hasn't been the most impactful in previous weeks. So I specifically remember when these guys played against Track was the difference when he had his Farah coming into Erky. I remember quite specifically in week 1. The 3-man clip with the ult, 1 Oasis overall. It's the small edges like that can make a difference, and need to see Erky step up today.
Well, what answer are Team Gigantti going to throw at him? Realistically, Darwin, if he gets close enough, they're riding the arch over Elivote. And that's also Lulsish up high. A-Fox going to be pocketing Erky as you'd expect. And a lot of clashing happening. Lulsish not committing to jumping down just yet. Bubble's going to negate some of the damage, but RCK needs to find a window to get in Erky's face and shut him down. He's really the only answer coming out from Gigantti at the moment, providing Erky keeps that verticality in his positioning. Now they're going to skirmish over by the well. Elivote and Lulsish, as you'd imagine, at the front. Cloudy back on the Winston. And RCK is going to try and hunt down Elivote, maybe get the D-Mech onto him. Erky spraying down, gets Ripper. There's the D-Mech that we were looking for from RCK. Also finds A-Fox, so no pocket for Erky at the moment. Here's the time for someone to capitalize on that and take him out of the sky. So close to getting a direct onto Davin, but he recalls at the perfect time. Master takes out Only God. Davin onto Lulsish. Elivote returns the favor, finally takes out RCK. Nil, he's going to drop to Erky, as does Davin. So Gigantti, now's the time you want to consider switching things up because it's not just getting damage anymore, he's getting the picks as well.
Very much so, but Gigantti, as we just saw on the last round, will save their ultimates and do one big push together. That looks like what they're starting to shoot for here.
Well, there's the Coalitions trying to get him up, but they'd rather sustain or take out A-Fox than deal with Erky. Sound barrier being used. Davin finds Luddy. Dragon Blade from Nil dives into the front. Only going to be able to deflect the Tracer away at the moment. Can't find the kills. The barrage rains from above, but Ripper will take Erky out of the sky before a kill can be made. RCK with the self-destruct will clear out Only God, and Team Gigantti take a first cap.
It was a bit scrappy, lost the initial fight, but once the members rejoined the fight, they managed to hold out pretty well whilst they were at a disadvantage, and Gigantti pull ahead once again. I agree with you though, I was concerned that they didn't really have a direct answer to Erky. Turns out the best answer was a really interesting one where Genji deflected the rocket, it hit Erky, and as the Genji dashed through, he got killed by the own damage he just deflected. So, a bit maybe proactive on Nil, trying to get quite a nice quick early kill onto Erky, ended up killing himself, but Gigantti still pull ahead.
Bit of a kill box being formed. We're going to have to change up their tactics from Angry Titan. Just going to jump into the back line. Now the Primal Rage is being popped. Everyone's trying to scatter out the rune. They don't want to be locked in that ball in a China shop scenario. RCK, Pulse Bomb will take out of his mech. As Erky still in the air, not really contested. He's gone down low to try and deal with Davin, but the recall is there to keep him alive. Now he's being peppered with a couple of shots. He's got the pocket from Mercy. She's going to reposition. Oh, nice concussive blast into the punch to shut him down. Now he's getting into melee range of Elivote as well. Erky playing fearlessly at the moment.
Good kind of stuff. It's what we want to see more of from him. Again, looking a bit inferior to some of the Pharaohs that we've seen so far in Contenders. I won't say yet today it's a stellar performance, but it's definitely getting there. A lot of Pharaohs you'll see will often stay quite high, but when you try and go for a final kill, you drop down, you go for the final couple of shots because you know you're not likely to miss it. That was maybe a bit too close. Getting close to a Tracer, getting close to the Mini Diva. It would have taken a few shots to head and you'd have been gone.
Well, there's a lot of pressure being applied by Lolsish onto the backline of Team Gigantti, and Nil looking for the prime opportunity to change his backline position to a more aggressive one. Maybe he can do that in tandem when his Dragon Blade comes up, which it just has. Urki in the air with that barrage. Didn't have the most effective first one of this map, and hopefully he can rectify it with his second. Elivo going to charge down Marsa. No more healing coming out from the Lucio, but they have one support available for them. And there's Dragon Blade after the D-Meg. Self-destruct being used, so it's going to force him to hide. But this is where the supports are. He's run straight into them. Only gets the first slash, can't get the second. Valkyrie will sustain them as Lolsish chases him away. RCK finds Apox, picks up the slack from where Nil couldn't land it. Ripper going to be keeping the Coalescence alive. It's only God is going to go down to RCK yet again. Cloudy so close to that primal rage. They're forcing Luddy out of his safety zone, and he jumps into the well to fall down there as a corpse. Cloudy jumps back onto Elivo again. Like I said, primal rage still available. Doesn't need it. The lightning will do all the damage he needs as RCK gets a kill with the rockets, and Nil cuts down Afox.
Got to give it to Angry Titans, though. They're definitely giving it back to Gigantti and trying to fight them at their own game, showing no fear in it. However, the same thing that keeps on happening is Gigantti have got the ultimate advantage. You look at that bar at pretty much any time, I guarantee you they're 90% of the time going to have more ults online than what Angry Titans do. Lack of overcommittal to a fight is really, really smart, and it's something that only Gigantti seem to really have down in Contenders, to be honest.
Well, that's one word to describe Gigantti, I think, is patient. They know when they need to attack. They know when they need to play conservatively. They're very mindful, and they don't mind waiting a few extra seconds to get a more cohesive attack going. And we saw it on the first round of Ilios. We're seeing it in parts in this one. I feel like they're slightly more scrappy and a little bit more all over the place than they were in the first round, but they're still somehow winning these fights and acting in a coordinated manner.
It is quite interesting when you see how a couple of times Urki has caught Davin out as well, because Davin generally is the unkillable, lowest health pool hero in the game who just never seems to die, because he's so good at getting in and out of these situations that he keeps himself alive for seemingly ever. However, a couple of times Urki has caught him out. That concussive blast punch was really, really smart. Bringing Davin out of the field just kind of remove a lot of pressure onto your backline, I think. And that's where Angry Titans are struggling, is the backline threat from Davin is just making sure that they don't have enough support for their tanks to keep them in fights longer. It was what we saw in the earlier series actually around, well, exactly the same. As you get into the backline, disrupt the backline, tanks disappear, you've got no support for the DPS if they're going for dives, the whole thing falls apart. It's almost trying to break it apart at the foundation so the team cannot continue on their push. Gigantti just seems to be better at doing that than Angry Titans do right now.
Well, that's what you need to do with the Pharah Mercy. Obviously, the ideal situation is you keep the Mercy safe in the skies with the Pharah, keep her healing. Now, the problem lies with if you have Davin go onto your backline and kill your secondary support, who's healing the rest of your team? Mercy now needs to divert attention where she should be pocketing Pharah and go back down. That's a window of opportunity for someone like RCK to jump into the air and start causing havoc, because they're not going to be having that health regen onto Urki. I feel like Team Gigantti could possibly capitalize on that a little bit more, but it's one of those things where you've got to have a quick, immediate call when that window opens up.
Let's see how Gigantti use these 4 ults they've got on side now. Of course, after having that on the Sara, I should say, having the sound barrier, going to be very, very good if they want to try and force a push here back towards the spawn of Angry Titans. It's still got 25% to go, so I imagine they want to hold onto these ults for a bit of a while longer and then start popping them when that final fight kicks in.
A little bit of a muted jump from Cloudy. Can't disrupt that sound barrier. Throws in the Primal Rage. And there's a D-Mech going straight down the hole. That's unfortunate for RCK, so 1 man down for Gigantti. Urki still got the barrage, still in the air. But very much the bodies for Gigantti are on the point rather than Angry Titans. They need to switch that over. Lolsish taking care of Nil. Should fix that. Rasar going down. There's the barrage straight into Cloudy. Turns away to stop the immediate proximity damage. Turns back. Ripper going to jump to his death to reset the fight.
Gigantti's hand was kind of forced there. As soon as they saw the ult start coming out of the Angry Titans, they thought, we need to respond here. We can't hold on any longer. And yes, they managed to run us into overtime at 99%. That means Gigantti now have this one chance to take a fight, capture the point, and win the map outright. This is what they tried to do on the first point. It didn't really look so clean towards the end. The intent was to use all 5 ults to clear the enemy team out and win. It didn't work out for them. Let's see if they can do it here. Straight away.
Excellent target prioritization by Ripper and Cloudy to take the Mercy out of the sky. Now Davin going to follow up with a pulse bomb onto Lolsish. No support, no tank. Now the second support is going to drop for Angry Titans, so no healing whatsoever for their side for now. Urki still in the air. RCK going up high. There's the kill we wanted. Urki's going to go down. Nils trapped in a room with that Tracer, and OWC going to shut him down with that Dragon Blade. So Elivote finds Nil afterwards to level the playing field. A-Fox comes back up, reses Urki, so he's got that wingman in the sky with him yet again to rain down these rockets. RCK going to try and escape, sends his self-destruct into the air, going to try and ground that duo, but it hasn't worked out as well as she thought it was going to, as RCK going to charge onto the back line, get halted at the midpoint. 4 bodies on the point to 2 of Angry Titans. The number keeps changing because they keep backing in and out. Elivote takes out Cloudy. Davin is going to be trying to run around at the moment on this Tracer. He's got Pulse Bomb available. Needs to find something as RCK takes down Lolsish. A second sound barrier for Luddy in close proximity. Urki finds Nassar with the barrage, but that's all he's going to get so far as Ripper comes around from the opposite side with the Coalescence. He's going to aim for the Mercy again. Self-destruct. Raining down, finds RCK while he's out of the mech, so there's going to be no more Demon Battles. OWC takes down Davin. It looks like Angry Titans, they're going to force this out to a 3rd round potentially. They just need to keep this up.
They've lost literally everyone at this point. There we go. And the big thing that maybe everyone missed at the end of that because it was very, very subtle. Nassar popped his ultimate and Urki killed him before he hit the ground. Had that sound barrier landed, that could have been a very, very different fight because Angry Titans had the barrier, whereas the other side did not. So well played by Urki to get that clutch last moment.
2 sound barriers just from Luddy alone in that last fight. Very reminiscent of the first match of the day on Ilios, where we saw that really stagnated fight at the end. I feel there's a potential for a repeat here on Lighthouse, considering how much Angry Titans really stepped up their game and capitalized on their ability to play Farah on that map. And I feel like it's something they're going to roll within onto Lighthouse as well.
It's something we haven't really seen Gigantti do yet, is go towards that Farah. I don't recall any point in the last couple of weeks where we've seen any member pick that up and try and make use of it. Clearly here they're thinking we don't need to try and match Urki, we're quite happy with what we've got. But in memory, like I say, no Farah can really hurt you, especially if you come up against something like Quad Tank when you're looking towards either that or a Junkrat. The flexibility can really help. What it enables you to do is that aerial superiority control and of course the barrage. You cannot ignore how impactful that can be on something like Control.
It's been hit or miss for Urki with those barrages this game. Hopefully he can bring out some more impactful ones as they go on. But it's Team Gigantti,
there we go.
They've got the bodies on the point. Davin already felt the wrath of those rockets. The supports and the tanks are going to dive together, try and keep each other alive as a fight happens outside of the point. But Urki still unanswered. 17 HP for Elliot Cloudy. Just needs a tap and he'll go down. Elivote provides him with just that. Angry Titans get the first cap.
This is why Farah can be so useful. The pressure she was raining down above, as soon as Davin disappeared, realistically, what was going to threaten Urki? Okay, maybe you get RCK flying at your face, and maybe Nil manages to dash through you once. You're being pocketed by a Fox. The simple fact is, you are going to really struggle to bring down this Farah, so you can just rain these rockets onto your tanks, onto your healers, and once they're low, well, send Nil in, he does cleanup duty. Even the supports were there and involved as well. RCK picking up the final kill. They need to find an answer to be able to deal with Urki, I feel. Otherwise, this could actually end up going the way of Angry Titans.
Well, barrage in his pocket. Pulse Bomb onto OWC. There comes the Coalescence. He's been their go-to answer on Gigantti to try and shut this down by aiming for Mercy. He finds a Fox again. This is one of the most consistent things Gigantti are able to do with this ultimate. Now, Urki going through the chimney. He's got a barrage straight onto Cloudy. Manages to jump out, but it only delays the inevitable. Second kill coming out. RCK out of the mech. They're going to jump off the point. They know they can't contest it just yet.
Maybe should have considered that would have been a possibility. Keep an eye on the chimney. Santa's coming to town, or in this case, Urki's coming to town. Double kills and things like that as well, bringing down the support. You saw everyone basically throw themselves off the edge, but they realised that when their main tank was gone, when they lost one of their healers, there was no way they could stay in that control room and contest for long.
They're going to try again. They know that the barrage is not going to go up. That's a certainty for them, so they don't have to work around that. Nil's got that Dragon Blade. He's getting peppered at the moment, needs to sustain himself back. He's going to die before he can even get to use it. Lolsish found him quite comfortably. They're contesting this point. So far, Team Gigantti haven't got a foothold in this map. And they're going to take back to the skies again. Elivote gets the D-Mech, then the kill onto RCK. Still keeping away. There's not really patience that Team Gigantti can have. What they do have is 6 ultimates.
That's exactly what they were waiting for. And I'm not sure if this is a good thing or a bad thing about Gigantti yet, but they've done it several times in this series because they want to go for that one-time wipe and win. They're so committed to the 6 or 5 or 6 ultimate strat that they are actually just completely refusing to change the deal with Urki. He's going to have his ult relatively soon if they aren't careful. They've got to act now.
Nil deflecting for his life, doesn't matter. Elivote will shut him down. Ripper yet again onto A-Fox. It doesn't really matter though, it doesn't change the outcome. Lolsish takes down Nil. Finally, RCK deals with Urki. That could be the difference maker for Gigantti. No one's on the point as RCK has to go in, but Lolsish there with the Primal Rage, gonna be knocking him around. Hopefully knocks him off the point eventually. Sound Barrier to stall this out even longer. But here comes Massa, a Lucio of his own. Only good in the meantime, taking out Ripper. Apox has brought Urki back into life. The Dragon Blade gets shut down immediately by the Farah and Only God. Lolsish, they're running onto the point. Who's left to contest? No one else is. Angry Titans take a map off Gigantti.
What is going on today? It's literally like we have stepped through a mirror. After week 2, teams took like 5 days. They're like, time to jump through a portal, turn the whole thing upside down, because today's results are literally going the exact opposite of what we all expected would happen. I don't know what's going on with a lot of these teams. Gigantti, I got to admit, very static there, really committing to that 6-ult plan. Didn't pay off for them, and that's probably going to have to teach them for further maps in this series. You can't commit to that. If you cannot deal with the Farah, please change to something and deal with it, or this is going to happen time and time again.
Yeah, well, we're going to try and find a way out of the mirror dimension. When we come back, hopefully, we'll be back to some sanity. I think we may have stepped out of the mirror dimension. I'm not quite sure, but we're going to just roll with it anyway. We're going to jump into map 2 very shortly after Angry Titans picked up a surprising win against Team Gigantti.
Hopefully there has been some normality restored to the universe, because today has been very back to forward, upside down, you name it, whatever kind of connotation you want. It's been a bit of a weird day. It feels really weird turning to the left, I won't lie.
Yeah.
I'm so not... This is a joke that now feels really, really strange, but we'll go with it anyway. I'm hoping what we see come out of these guys on Numbani... Are we doing the switcheroo now?
Yeah, we'll do the switcheroo.
Grand. They're doing a switcheroo to Numbani, so let's have a quick chat about that. We saw historically a lot of teams go for things like the tank hold on the point. We've seen this new kind of evolution where teams are trying to hold the high ground and then fall back. Earlier on today, it didn't look so hard. We've seen a lot of Farahs coming out, and they basically hard counter this because the Winston dives in, drops the shield, the Farah is safe and can basically just shoot rockets down into that back line for free because there is literally no cover once you're back on that alleyway.
Well, if they choose to run that Farah on the offense, at least now we've been seeing a lot of teams on Numbani run a soldier, which is something that should be a direct counter to... Yeah, well, we take the first game of the day as an example. Should be a counter. Really was shut down on the side of British Hurricane. So whether Gigantti have a competent soldier player they're willing to put on it, I believe Nil would be the one who would play that and get him up high and not fall into the same trap that Hurricane did. They might be able to shut down Urki on the Farah because Urki stepped up today, and he stepped up in a big way.
I don't want to downplay his achievements because he was definitely a huge factor in them winning that last map. And I think without him playing the way he did, they would not have won. But a lot of questions come from me about Gigantti. Why were you sticking with that comp so, I don't know, resolutely? You weren't willing to change things. And just to deal with Urki, you knew he was basically the sole problem that you were having because he was getting so much free damage onto your tanks that I don't know, it's nonsensical for me to stick with something like that. It was time to change, they didn't, it cost them the map, and now they've got to try and make sure that going forward they don't repeat those same mistakes.
Well, let's have a look at what Angry Titans are rolling out on this one. So A-Fox going to play the Mora of his own. I think he was tired of being shot out of the sky by a Coalescence. He's going to let Luddy take over those duties on the Mercy this time around. And Urki, he's going to be playing the Soldier, so it's reminiscent of the strategy we've been seeing so far. It's nice to see a little bit of consistency in Overwatch Contenders with what people are running. They're going to hold that Soldier high ground. Team Gigantti looks like they're gearing up for a full dive.
What I would like to see ideally here is wherever the second tank is that's lurking around for Angry Titans is basically just sit. In this case, Elevote, just sit on the Soldier, keep him safe, and make sure that whoever is sat on the other side preventing the push coming through from the left corridor is that they jump over when that dive comes through. That's what you need to see from a team to be able to effectively hold down this point, and this kind of aggressive corner holding is exactly what a tank needs to be doing. Yeah,
pop the defense matrix, let some free shots go in. Nils dived into the center, was booped back at the moment by something, or opted to move back himself so he couldn't commit. Elevote gets the D-Mech onto RCK. Lolsish there. The tank synergy is strong and they shut him down. They're both being the left and right hand of God at the moment. And look at that. Cloudy can't even find his foot through the door as Lolsish and Urki take him out together.
Much more sensible coming out of Angry Titans compared to the teams that we saw earlier on today. Tanks holding the front line with the D.Va to block any of the incoming projectiles. Winston dives in straight away with the shield as soon as he sees any kind of diving aggression come through. Very good pushback by Angry Titans. Now Gigantti the ones who've got to adapt, and they're looking towards Nil with that ultimate to cut through this tank line.
No adaptation as of yet, but Nil, like you said, going to have that Dragon Blade very shortly. Could be the game changer. Urki about to get an ultimate of his own. If he keeps getting headshots like that, even faster. So he's got the Tac Visor. There's the Dragon Blade. Lolsish finds Master, so they're one support down. A-Fox, he's going to take it down. He's been taken off the field. Ripper onto Luddy. There's Only God. He's cleared out RCK yet again. Elevote's found Nil, so no DPS. And Urki didn't really do much with the tactical visor. It was more of a zoning ultimate yet again because the rest of Angry Titans picked up the slack.
Incredibly low here for Davin, just trying to hold the point as long as he could, but not going to happen. And once again, they get the cleanup. Now, whenever we look at these two teams, we always speak about Davin's Tracer, but Only God so far in this game has been doing work. That looked lost then. Once Nil got into the backline and brought down the supports, that was their effective backline structure eliminated. But Only God came through, undone to them exactly what they'd just done to them. And well, everything balanced out.
They're going to try again. Nil not as impactful with that Dragon Blade. Only found A-Fox. They're going to commit to it again. Here's the self-destruct available from RCK, but it's Only God taking out Nil with a Pulse Bomb. They're still able to hold this back with the aggression coming out from Only God and the survivability of the rest of the Angry Titans unit. Lolsish given a second win, as is Cloudy, so the Resurrecting Monkeys back into the fray. Elevote still found Davin, and Urki took out Massar, so still, Angry Titans, they pushed back Gigantti about 3 or 4 times now.
Gigantti are doing the thing that you should never do, which is constantly trying the same thing. Insanity, everyone knows.
Yep.
That famous quote from Einstein, which I'm clearly forgetting, so not everyone minus me.
Do you want me to correct you for it?
Yes, please, thank you.
So insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different
results.
Outcome.
Absolutely, and that's what they're doing. They're constantly trying to push this high ground. Eventually it does stick, and that's a very unfortunate bomb. In fact, just gets around the corner.
What do you mean unfortunate? It bobbed around and found Only God.
As it fell down the wall, it actually managed to curve around the corner. So smart, it looked like it got stuck. I'll hold my hands up, bit of a mistake. However, the point is still being held up by Gigantti.
That's some Chinese level ping pong play coming out, but the rest of Team Gigantti, they've used that window, the lack of pressure from Only God, they're holding on to it, and I think Angry Titans maybe going to concede, buy some time to get a full lineup. Here's the blade from Nil, shut down by the Helix rockets from Urki. RCK finds Elevote. They still need to get a body on the point at the moment. They're just teetering on the edge of committing. Where is the commitment, Angry Titans? You can't give this up just yet. You've been doing so well. Pulse Bomb on the floor. It doesn't find anyone. Elevote onto Master. David finally gets his revenge on Only God as Lolsish will clear out Davin again. But Urki and the rest of Angry Titans still holding on to this point against Gigantti.
That was a little bit too close to the wire for me. They were literally waiting for the blade to come out so they could bring down Nil. Once he was gone, that 5 versus 6 was entirely theirs for the taking. But now they've got one segment of point A left to hold. Could be a tough one. They've got 3 ultimates to play with, though, to the one on Gigantti. And Gigantti, they've got to come up with something new in these dying seconds, or they fail to take anything on Numbani.
Picking up Master, they're putting him onto the Lucio for the speed boost, but already that's a huge chunk of damage as the self-destruct goes in the air. Gonna force some repositioning. No one's to be found just yet. Coalescence won't bite through that Transcendence just yet. Lolsish taking out RCK without that mech. He's been doing this time and time again. Finds Ripper as well. This monkey has been popping off all game. Nil finally gets his revenge on Urki, but they've lost Davin, so they've lost one of the prongs of their attack. But Lolsish again finds the second support. This man has been doing so much work for Angry Titans this round, and he's done just enough to deny a capture from Gigantti.
Well, what did we say when we came back from the parallel dimension? We said they need to stop going for the same things and start mixing it up, but the only thing they changed was the Lucio. They didn't change where they attacked, they didn't change who they were trying to focus, everything looked incredibly static. It's almost like Gigantti have transformed from a team that are very fluid, very regimented, into this team that are just have got a strategy they want to play on the map, and they stick by it. It's got to change up.
It's one of the problems we saw with Hurricane, where they weren't going to change up the comp because they weren't playing the comp correctly in their opinion, so they just stuck with it. Or at least that's what we're theorizing as to why we didn't see that master change. It was very last minute. They had one final push. They wanted to make sure everyone could get there, so they pick up the Lucio. I think if they had their way, they would have stuck him on their consistent support, but it was just necessity. And now, Angry Titans, they're probably going to run Urki on the Farah, and they're going to do it so well like they did on the previous map. So when you have A-Fox going to be pocketing him, Luddy on that Lucio himself, and Only God, he's really stepped up his tracer game. We knew he was a good tracer, but he's taking down the likes of Davin consistently with ease.
Quite bizarre when you think about how this one has been playing out, and I've harped on a lot about Gigantti needing to change things up, but you've got to give credit where credit is due to the Titans. Consistent defense, tanks very much so in synergy with their supports, making sure they're there to be able to hold things out. Biggest worry, I suppose, for me with there was on that final fight. Once everything fell apart and the tanks got in there, Nil was in the back line, that's when it looked shaky. Immediately, Angry Titans switched into aggressive mode. The tanks dived into the back, brought down the Zenyatta, made sure they had no extra support to provide for the tanks who were on the point, and they lose. Simple as that. Gigantti, I think, almost felt like they could taste victory, and then it got snatched away cruelly.
Not a lot of wiggle room on this one for Gigantti if they're looking to hold this one out. Davin going on to the Sombra. We saw how effective Sombra can be against the Farah because of that increased hack range. Able to ground her, make her vulnerable for the likes of Nil to cut through, or even Cloudy and RCK to get a number in and a few digs onto Farah while she's grounded. Davin really needs to show up on the Sombra because this is a mammoth of a task of Gigantti to hold on to this point for this long.
Trying to fight on the high ground to the left here. Quite unusual to see teams go for a hold here. It does allow you to drop onto the point quite easily, but you surrender a very favourable position here behind the column, which you can now see Angry Titans taking up.
And now they've had to drop onto the point itself to try and force him away. There's a huge high ground advantage for Angry Titans. They really need to capitalise on that in this next fight. Lossish trying to find an entry point, but he's on a nice little ledge there. He needs to get himself out because Master's trying to dislodge him. What is going on? Darwin shut down Only God. RCK onto Ellie as well with the D-Mech, so need to find the exposed Diva, shut her down. But no, he switched focus, takes out Lossish instead. Darwin, long range with the machine pistol. No kills just yet. Going to pop the invisibility. Maybe go hunting for that stray Diva on the back line.
Super cool, straight back in, but Angry Titans are lurking around here. Haven't felt the need to pull back yet because they didn't lose enough members in either their attacks. This is the problem with Gigantti, is they're quite a close range team here. Nothing really long range to bring down this Farah who's harassing them. You might just find Angry Titans, once they get that ultimate online, which is now up for the barrage, they could go for an all-in here.
But David's so close to that EMP, he could shut it down if they use it too early. Timing is everything for Angry Titans. Here comes the Coalescence to sustain Gigantti. There is the barrage, doesn't find anyone. They've got the cover of the house. There's a huge shatter coming out from LH Cloudy, and the bomb on top of it won't get anyone else, but Luddy will fall down to that one. He's been charged down. Nil cuts through Only God. Elivo going to return the favor onto Master, so one support down at the moment, but Davin, he's got that EMP in the pocket. He's going to be able to absolutely roll over the next push if he uses that correctly.
An EMP basically guarantees you a fight because as long as you can catch at least 4 or 5 members with it, there is nothing they can do to stop you just completely rolling through. Unfortunately, mouse clicks don't do too much to prevent a team from literally just walking through you and melting your face.
And Davin also gets the choice of who he wants to hack immediately afterwards to extend that period of being a walking bag of ult charge. So he can be delightfully devilish here if he wants to, depending on who he wants to pick on. But there's the EMP, grounds A-Fox and Urki, and immediately everyone jumps on him to try and take him out. It's RCK who gets the kill. Cloudy takes out the support. There's a self-destruct. Everyone's going to scatter. They don't want to be caught out by that. But Elivo, he's going to run down. It gets the attention, the translocation to keep him alive. Nil with the Dragon Blade onto Luddy, so that's both supports down for them. Davin jumps back onto the point, going to reinforce himself with his team, and Elivo knows what this means, so he's going to jump off the edge of the map and reset.
That's the first major mistake I've really seen come out of Angry Titans, was Luddy burnt his ultimate, the sound barrier, once both the Farah and the Mercy had been taken out. There's no res available when a Mercy's not on the field, sadly, so you're basically catching 3, 4 members with that maybe. You're not going to win that 4 versus 6. Bit of a mistake.
Angry Titans, they bigged up their quad tank game, so they're really falling back on it right now. They're going to go for an offense with this quad tank and hopefully get something different done. This is why they're breaking the chain of insanity. They're going to mix it up. This is something Team Gigantti didn't do. Can we be proven right that adaptation is key? And Angry Titans, they're going to be able to show that if they can cap this point. Now they've switched things up.
Best quad tank in Europe, by the way, remains to be seen, but they are actually pushing Team Gigantti back here as well. Only having those 2 tanks is starting to cost them.
Well, there's a hook onto RCK. Earth Shatter going to drop everyone down, try and reset the fight. Not sure where to look, but Cloudy gets the charge onto Urki. There's a Dragon Blade from Nil. Cuts through Luddy. Cuts through Only God. Cloudy takes down Lolsish as well. That's the fight being shut down yet again. So Team Gigantti, they do not want to move off this point.
It's always the problem with playing quad tank is you give over so much ult charge to the enemy side. However, Davin is the only one with his ultimate online. But what do you see with the quad tank? They play as a group, they push as one. That's an easy 6-man ult waiting to happen. And Angry Titans have got one chance to make this work with a few ults. Almost there, but just not quite. They need a bit more.
The closest they're going to get is an Earth Shatter from Lolsish. There's the EMP to shut it down. Doesn't matter if he has the ult, he's going to be cut down. Urki finds Nil. It's Cloudy onto Only God. Lolsish with the D-Mech. There's a hack onto Urki. They need to focus him down while they got this opportunity to do so. Lolsish charging the Master as well. He's woken up. He used that Earth Shatter as well. Don't know what he got from it, but there's Cloudy shutting down Cloudy. No tank lineup. Gonna use the whole hog. The defense matrix can only last so long. The D-Mech, the kill hopefully coming out as well. They're off the point. All the bodies from Angry Titan are still holding on. They just need a couple more. I think that's a Sombra dancing around, stalling it out. She's gone down. Angry Titans go into the halftime 2-0.
Best quad tank in Europe, by the way.
Best quad tank in Europe. One of the strategies where you don't really think about it, you just run headfirst into a wall and hopefully you break down the wall.
And in this case, the wall was only 2 tanks strong for Gigantti, so it was never going to hold up against something like that. Got to say, Cloudy did a pretty good job holding out for a while, getting a few kills in the mix as well. He's been a Reinhardt we've been very excited about over the last couple of weeks, and he showed why in this game. I feel, unfortunately, only so much you can do.
We haven't quite escaped the mirror dimension, Des, yet. I feel like we've been stuck in it for the entire day because a lot of things aren't going the way that you had pegged them coming in with 2 weeks of knowledge about these teams. And I think this is probably it's equally as surprising as what we saw in Game 1 against Hurricane. We are going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll bring you some analysis and hopefully they can make some sense of the mirror dimension.